Welcome back, everybody, here to your coverage of the Dota 2 Championship League. I'm TobiWan, bringing you English on live stream right now as we go into game number 2 of our last best of 3 of the night, where we have Virtus.pro with their stand-in Santa replacing Solo with the recent controversy over him, going up against the other boys from everywhere. There's Sigma, a bit of French, a little bit of German, a little bit of Dane in them. They're a bit of everything right now. In fact, if we can bring it up for you over on my side screen. They were formerly known as Quantic when they signed up for this team, hence this profile list does say that, but they are led by their captain Bucking Mad after he ended up leaving the MTW lineup and going into a different kind of world. And, well, they're up against the VP lineup, so we do have them listed as to be advised on their 5th. And, well, we'll see who they do manage to confirm in this slot, but they do have a lineup which has a lot of history behind it. Light of Heaven and Arsad, the former Na'Vi players into Virtus.pro after they got replaced by both Funnick as well as Kuro, and then Sergey, or God, leaving LGD International, and then NS, the man who is probably never, ever, ever going to be leaving Virtus.pro. He's like part of the furniture in the VP house. You just can't remove him. He's nailed to the floor. Something which I thought was nailed to the first 2 ban points is the Pugner. I was actually joking around with Fader saying, yo man, like, why do I never see like your 18-minute GG push Pugners? And he's like, it's just not possible. Everyone bans the Pugner, especially up against them. And they ban the Pugner. This time around though, VP won't ban it. It's actually Sigma who banned it in the last game because they didn't have first pickup. They know the potentials of this hero. They know how difficult it is for any player to play up against in the middle lane. No matter what hero you have, it's very, very difficult. VP will go with a CM as well as Elder Titan. Funny enough, this is the combination that was used in the earlier Na'Vi vs Alliance game. And every time I see it, I'm not looking for a mid-solo ET. I'm looking for an aggressive tri-lane to come out from this. The harassment potential you have from both CM as well as ET, and the control potential is higher than, I think, almost any combination of supports you can find on the game right now. Like, we used to have it as Coddle was the lane controller of all lane controllers, and then you had the Naga Siren with her Riptide and snares and all that kind of jazz. But you get a life stealer with this. Unfortunately, they can't because Mad banned it out. But you have a hero that can couple with this in some way, shape, or form. They're looking good. You can almost go old school kind of style. It was with a Coddle, but it was it's something which I always like referring to every now and then because I'm kind of waiting for a team to revive it. But the core Windrunner offlane, I know Light of Heaven will really enjoy doing such a thing, but you're able to run core Windrunner, and then you have 2 heroes that just do harassment support. So CM as well as ET could do that. And you look for this long-range damage and harassment. So you never even have to come in close, but you can still dish the damage directly to the heroes. So that's kind of what I'm searching for from this VP lineup. They're going to pick up a Queen of Pain right now. This opens up their lanes a little bit more. It does look to have God on that Queen of Pain in the middle lane. And Sigma, well, you knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. It's either going to be an Enchantress or it's going to be a Lashrak coming out now from Sigma. And my money's on the Lashrak. This means Pugner can run his solo mid, Juggernaut, Naga, plus the Lashrak can go up towards the top. So you get one holdout from the Naga and Snare, which you cannot break. And then you've got your follow-up Lashrak Stun and Juggernaut Spin. Virtus.pro going to go with the Bristleback. Now, really good tanky hero. Downside about Bristleback, he won't be ready to fight up against VP in time. Only possibly largest downside I'm feeling from him right now. Oh man, you are pushing in the lamest way possible. Like, the Shrek at least lets you melt down some towers, but now we're going to get a Treant Protector up on the field instead. This is not going to go well. This is not going to go well at all. So now NS. Last selection. He needs some huge ass counter push, more than what the Bristleback has to offer. And Dazzle, it's actually a really nice way to do that. So it's going to be an ET core coming out. So ET co-op as well as Bristleback. You can, and it is a toss-up thing where you can run the Dazzle as a mid. And I'm only saying this for pure speculation, not as a, oh my god, it's definitely going to be a Dazzle played by Sergey in the mid. But just because you get the early levels up in Poison Touch, you can control the lineup nicely. And then you get your Shadow Grave, you got your Shadow Wave as well. You got a lot of different heals to give to the rest of your team. More than likely, it's going to be babysitting the Bristleback. That's more than likely. So you can run the ET on the bottom lane for VP, Quap in the mid, and then Bristle, Dazzle, CM up on the top. And even though you don't need to commit both the supports up there, you can just have one or so. But you've got to be ready up on that top lane for the push, which you know it's going to be coming in. You just put Juggernaut into a spin, you give him some living armor, let him die back past the tower. Naga Siren, if she getting in snare on Bristleback, you'll get in front of the Bristleback as well. And Pugner will do his normal thing. Up against the Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain's got some really good burst damage, and the Decrepify won't really make it any more difficult to let that burst damage off, because once you blink in, you're already in range, so the slow on the Decrepify is not really going to affect her. And the burst damage as well, if Pugner ever wants to Decrepify himself to stop the right-click attack, it's not going to work, because she'll just Scream or Sonic Wave. So there's some really good potential coming out from Sigma as far as pushing power, but I'm wondering if they fully commit to this. We're missing an off-lane hero as the last one. I'm feeling a Windrunner still, again, as this last selection. I know I've kind of turned this to a different team right now, but really, Sigma need a level of control, and they're actually going to go with a Visage. So we're looking at a tree core. Sigma have done this, and they put it as Soshka as the tree protector. They did this during the ESWC. It wasn't something anyone was really expecting to find. But yeah, seeing right now Sigma with the Visage, they're showing that they want to fight more. They're happy to fight. They know VP are going to be ready to fight. And they just want to be prepared with the Visage early on. But this means now Miguel could either go solos or they can look at dual lanes. Either way, you know the potential of a Pugner. I think we all do. So, yeah. Look for the early push from Sigma, and let's see the timings for VP's items to see if they can be ready to defend in time as well. So quickly through the players, it will be Soshka on the top lane as the Tree Protector, but passes the Visage following up, and we're going to look at dual lanes with Bucky matting down to the bottom lanes, the Naga Siren. 2 wars in hand, which means they're looking at the block of the camps. Miguel will be the Juggernaut down here as well, and that puts Fader into the middle lane solo. And then to the bottom lane, NS takes up the bone-covered Dazzle. Line of Heaven will take the Bristleback. And that puts Sergey, actually, here on the bottom lane. So they're going to go Hani style, where they run Queen of Pain as a solo bottom. Light of Heaven will have to go in towards the middle lane. Arsart's going to be the Crystal Maiden. And then you got Santa down here as well. So maybe we haven't made up our mind just yet. We're waiting to see who's going to be down here. That's just one observable from the Dire side going down. I like how they also put it on the Juggernaut. By putting the wards on the Juggernaut, if he gets caught out, he'll just spin and run away. And he is backing up. What are you checking for, Roshan? Oh, yeah. I think someone sent him a message about the level 1 Roshan that was just done by Alliance with the Bristleback from Loda. I have my people giving me updates on matches, so yeah. Haste. So Miguel's going to be on the bottom. I'm mad with the haste rune to start with. Could end up just grabbing the creep wave and pulling it up, but doesn't look like there's much need to do. That merely creep managed to get himself away, so the creep wave is going to be fairly high up on the bottom lane anyway. And then middle lane. All right, so this is what they're doing. Line of Heaven and NS towards the middle lane up against Fader. Fader will be fine with this. His blast harassment allows him to get the kills as well as do damage to NS as well as Light of Heaven. And they're starting off with the Poison Touch. So they're trying to harass Pugner down. And once the ball is up and running, that Poison Touch will have very little, like, it doesn't really do that much. That's the easiest way of putting it. And then you have Tree and Protector up against a hero like Elder Titan. Elder Titan's harassment damage not going to mean that much to Tree and Protector. And every time he's not harassing, he'll just give the living armor over to the Pugner. Who again is looking for another blast. Can't really get it, but there's a living armor. So the harassment damage coming out from VP here in this middle lane doesn't win it. While the pull happens from Pass. He's got himself a double stack right now, so he'll be denying off this creep wave against Santa, which then gives the advantage over towards the Tree and Protector. And on this bottom lane, Queen of Pain, now to pick up 3 for 1, while you got a 4 for 0, Miguel. And the creep waves are rather even, but I think it's this impending threat of a snare into possibly more damage that they're worried about. Dazzle, you're not looking too healthy there, man. Decrepify up on you. He's actually got the Shadow Wave, but doesn't really have a real high mana pool to support this. And he wants Line of Heaven to be in close, so the damage which is dealt directly over towards Fader. That's the goal right now. A little bit of snot coming out from Line of Heaven. Bottom lane. Oh, there you go. Ensnare, spin. Has to jump himself away. But that's just the first time. He'll have to use the rest of his tangos pretty shortly after this. And Arsat, Illusion Rune to go. Fader. Oh, now he's in trouble. Line of Heaven got the high ground quickly. 2 points up now. He's trying to go for this Decrepify. Pugna Blast. Can't get the first blood. He'll get a return kill though, Fader. He realized at that point he could not run himself away, but he could at least get himself some sweet revenge. And we'll actually sell one of his branches and come back in towards the middle lane. Love that blast pretty quickly. Doesn't lose too much mana because he's got the regeneration coming in from the fountain. Now Soshka looking. Level 3, Elder Titan. They're basically head-to-head, 8-2 up against a 13-2, so Soshka does have the upper hand in that battle. We got fake CMs coming towards the top lane, and Treant Protector, yeah, he's not quite sure about this. If he wants to, he could have leech-seeded up Santa, but with the Spirit bonus movement speed already, Santa was already feeling pretty good about this lane. But there is a double TP coming in. Oh, 1 TP, sorry, coming in from Mad. Trying to hide in the tree line. The trolls run around. They can see Santa over on the side just farming up. And the Spirit does some scouting. And now let's see both Mad as well as Pass. Looks like there's some trouble. TP's coming towards the middle lane of Pass. That Pugna ward is down. He's looking for some Soul Assumption damage, but he just doesn't have it. And NS still has himself a Shallow Grave if required. And Soshka, Living Armor's going to work. Santa, he's got the bonus movement speed, 132 bonus damage. Ensnare, you don't want to come close on that, Mad. While on the bottom lane, Sergei's walking around level 5, but he's also very, very low on life. So he's not wanting to overcommit himself. Another Pugna Blast out. No Decrepify coupling with it. He's just using it for last hits, not for harassment onto the heroes, or not to kill off a hero. Now if Bristleback does come in closer, he'll get Decrepified and blasted. He's toast. There will be no escape from that. Even with the amount of life points he's got. So I'll give NS some more space in the middle lane. Is he just sharing over some tangos? Yeah, it looks like he is. Thanks. And then the salve comes in from Arsat. Arcane Boots now coming out from the Treant Protector, so never-ending Living Armor, already up to level 2. It means he's also got the chance to spam off the leech, see it a little bit more up against the Elder Titan. Try and force him a little bit more out of that lane and stop him from farming. 14-2 up against a 24 for 8. It's still obviously the lane's going the way of Soshka apart from, well, he didn't have a death. Death belongs to the teammates. Middle lane movement, Line of Heaven, not going to get hit by that one, but at the same time, in comes Naga. Decrepify. Decrepify's going to go. They can see NS at the back end. Nether Blast, now Soul Assumption, damage over the Crystal Maiden. Grave Chill not being used. Light of Heaven still taking some damage. That ward going to work, but then again, he knows it's worth it. Popping off the quills, popping off the snot. Fader, blast again. Now the Shallow Graves on Light of Heaven. Going to ensure him this kill. And ensure Pass also picks up the supporter here. Juggernaut at the same time through all of that ended up dying on his lane. And Pass, he doesn't have enough damage to pick off Light of Heaven. Nowhere even close to it. And Juggernaut, he died back past the tier 1 tower on this bottom lane. Yeah, Queen of Pain ends up killing it. And Queen of Pain was just killed by the Dire side. Sorry. So they traded themselves. But Quap gets the kill which means she gets the experience, and then dies the tower, which means the goal is split. That's now coming top lane. Sonic Wave is leveled up. You got 3 points up in Scream. It's crazy she actually was able to get that kill of the Juggernaut without having a Sonic Wave. But they're going to try and use it to pick off the Treant Protector now. Spirit first. Scream to Sonic Wave. That's not really enough damage straight away. Now it is. With that hit, now you can see him. He tried to Living Armor. It's like, nope. There's never going to be enough life points to keep him keep him alive. And this is a lot better start to VP. 1,600 in the gold. About 3,000 worth of the experience. They are still going up against a really high amount of push power from Sigma. But with the start they've got some good items going to come up on a lot of the heroes. Santa, not quite sure about this, but we are going phase boots up on him. Middle lane Sniper Courier, Shagbuck, not using movement speed. So transfers the items. Pass still enabled, and now God. Oh, I think he might have been napping then. Fair, just wants to keep him out of mid. Observers down. They can see a lot of people here in mid. Fader. Ward's going to go down, hoping for some Scream and blinks away. But that's why that ward is down. God, he's trying to get rid of it so he can attack onto Fader. But the Spirit, not to mention Dazzle's Poison Sting, it's really going to work hard. That one attack. Oh, Asat! It's not enough damage anyway. The Shadowgrave did wear off by the time Past's attack found him. But VP, they're all so low on life around the map. And Matt and Past are the only ones left alive here in the middle lane. While Soshka should be giving them a living armor or something. If not to the tower. Keeping these towers at full life points would be very, very helpful. Because then they win the map control battle.
Radiant's top tower
Where VP are winning the fight battle right now. Their lineup is meant to dive and try and find kills. That's what Dazzle really does for the team. He's an enabler. And now going to find Fader. Pugna Blast, he's got Life Drain available as well, so if NS wants to try and turn and fight that one, Fader possibly could have kept running. Then you have it in snares, so he could have gone Life Drain into another Decrepify Blast. And have that kill on the Dazzle. The only issue would be if he used Shallow Grave. If he used Shallow Grave, then they wouldn't have themselves a kill. Which I think is the reason why they gave it up. They need a silence on him, somehow. We'll just find him in a position where he's got no mana. Because that Shallow Grave, once it's up to level 4, 15-second cooldown. Initiations like that just to get it on cooldown, it's not worth it anymore. No matter how much burst damage you think you have. Top lane, Santa's dead. Gets a good hit out in the Treant Protector. And now Arsat. Oh! Grave Chill, if it gets in range, it's not in range. Pugna's also backed up in the middle lane. Realizing they're both Light of Heaven as well as NS. It's a lane he cannot really contest. Especially if he gets snotted up. Living Armor's trying to give him the confidence to come in a little bit closer, but I don't think Fader's still not sure about it all. Alright, now's the time. Blast first, Decrepify after. It's a very quick timing to get that kind of combo. Normally, Decrepify is rather obvious who you're going to go on. And Light of Heaven, well, there goes your snot. The tier 1 tower still there, but another Grave Chill. But Light of Heaven just turning his back, so just minimal damage. That ward is down again. Almost trying to ask him to throw out these quills and snot. Juggernaut's got his ultimate available as well, but hasn't really found an opportunity to use it just yet. Looks like he's going to build into, well, that's just treads. But the reason why he got the Robe of Magi is so he's got the extra mana to start with. Allows the healing ward when things get rough up against the Queen of Pain, go back behind the tier 1 tower and just heal up. So he's a really good offlaner for that reason. Got the magic immunity to get him to that point. And then just got to look for that jump around. The Omni Slash going to work. Mad going to come and go for Arsat, Ensnare, and Tree. Worth Elite C for this one, and oh wow, with the Spirit coming down, he just wanted to bail himself out. Living Armor, and there's your Elite Seed. It's enough life points to keep Soshka alive. Has to use the ulti to escape as well. Pugna's farming up inside the jungle. Gonna go Phase Boots Pugna. While Pass tries to find its level 6 by farming in the mid. Santa, Arsat, and NS now gonna push in.
Dire's top tower is under
Tier 1 tower should be easily doable. They got catapults behind him and they got a healer. It's gonna put Santa in the middle of that creep wave after throwing a Spirit out. And that creep wave is toast, but with the TP coming in, it's Mad who comes in with the living armor. Regenerates almost instantly from the damage from the Spirit. Also with the well helping him out in on that front. Not being attacked, but with the living armor buff up on you allows him to do such a thing. Now top lane. Pass up here. Again, we have only got the 2 supports. Medallion of Courage going to work. That one's actually what? No, it's not. That's just the weave. Negative armor animation.
Radiant's middle
Just for
tower
the wrong
is
ability.
under
I'm
attack.
thinking one's gold, one's slightly different. And they come again with that
Dire's
spirit.
top tower
And
is
with
under
Light of Heaven on the
attack.
front lines too.
Radiant structures
Either this
are
becomes a
fortified.
trade-off, which means no
Dire's
TP's
top
coming back by
tower has
VP.
fallen.
Nah, there they come. TP's back. One last blast to come out by Fader. The tower's outside deny range. And there's still 2 Pugna blasts away from being his. Light of Heaven just wants to keep this creep wave away from the tower as much as possible. Man's being chased down by NS. Can't get himself in range of the poison. It's actually the range of the poison right there. It's really good range. And he's going to find Soshka instead. So poison, weave, going to buff up NS and drop the Tree Protector. -1. And now Naga just says stop. The ulti was already used by the Tree Protector. He's got a Riptide available, and there's more support coming in. The Familiar's not in a position right now to get a stomp down with a Quap ulti. Juggernaut bouncing around. There's your Familiar drop down finally, but they needed that straight away. NS, he's low on line, but Miguel can't catch up to him. He threw the ulti out, but they only got the Crystal Maiden. And there's just all sorts of damage, but the Shallow Grave able to go to work, and Santa, bonus 104 damage, turns into the ET Ultimate, dying to the Familiars at the same time.
Dire's middle tower
And
has
NS able to
fallen.
TP himself back out to base at the cover of his own Shallow Grave. They lose ET and CM, but they pick up the Juggernaut. They picked up the Pugna. They picked up the Naga. And they picked up Mr. Tree. And now comes to defend that middle lane. Sigma's going to start to run out of options in this later portion if they don't start pushing soon. But how are they supposed to do that up against mechs as well as level 4 heals? Actually, no, it's only level 2 heal and a level 1 Shallow Grave. They surely needed the 3 points up in the Poison Touch, but seems like NS wants to go the whole hog and caboodle. As Drums now even appears on the Elder Titan. He's getting fat. Necro Books. It's the choice here from Queen of Pain to build into. They really got to make the most out of that healing ward. And Pugna himself. Phase Boot, Spelt. Looking to do exactly the same thing as far as the builds go. Getting into those Necro units next. 2 smoked up heroes on this bottom lane. And they just need to slow down Light of Heaven. There's a Grave Chill and a Snare. Get to the front side of him and then go into the spin. They're attacking from 3 different angles. Spin down a little bit further. They pick up the Dazzle, and that means they can move themselves over to Light of Heaven. However, it's not making it easy when ET does this. Spirit damage, and Pugna's actually going to go down the creep wave. There's the ulti from Sochka. He does have damage to pick up Light of Heaven. He threw the ulti out, but didn't cancel the TP and must have only just been out of range. Even Shagbuck, he's got 5 life points trying to escape out of here. Santa, he just dishes so much DPS. 80 bonus damage being added into him. And Tree is forced back. Pass at least going to resummon his Familiars here. And 15-8 goes on the board. VP. Their advantage is looking very similar to the one that Sigma got over them in their last game.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Trouble with Familiar drops. Means Ensnare. Means Leech Seed. ET ulti. They split themselves off. Matt doesn't be caught inside this. He's got another negative earn charge coming out from Arsad up on him. And with the spirit damage in them all, doesn't help out either. Weave goes on past as well as Miguel, but they're going to still get the kill over on Santa. And the healing ward is down for Sigma right now. Arsad drops his ulti, but then Shallow Graved up means to get a full duration ultimate, but the Tree and ulti, now it flies out. Quap throws hers in the mix as well. Buyback comes out from the Crystal Maiden, TPing into the Tier 1 tower. They need her stun, and Mant just stops the party. He's going to back himself up. The Familiar's about to rise up as well. Off to the side, don't have enough damage to pick up the first one. And the second, yeah, the CM attack will follow through, but now Miguel, he's got ulti available. There's too much of a creep wave. Has to spin first. They need to get rid of this creep wave first, so then Miguel can do his business. Now the ulti goes. But it's just not enough damage. Quap blinked himself off to the side. It's a level 1 ulti from Miguel, so it's only 3 jumps on the Aghanim Scepter. And there's just too many heroes in the neighborhood. Ward's going to get picked up on the bottom lane, actually being denied up by Fader as well.
I am ever so grateful.
As he tries to defend this bottom. Novas and Pugna Blasts. One way to keep everything out. Yep, well, healing was lost. Fader also needs more mana because he went phase boost early on, he just didn't really have a lot of mana. And now, Familiar drops and the Plug and Blast again, but they're waiting for it. Resummon from Visage, not available for another 50 seconds, and they all waited for it. They wanted that Familiar absolutely toast. And they got their wish. Just like I'm pretty sure Elder Titan got a very good wish out of that Ancestral Spirit. Problem is he's not going to be using it to kill off anybody, but what they have managed to do is at least take out all the Tier 1 towers. How much did he get from that going through? 204 bonus damage is how much he got through the creep wave and through 3 heroes. God's going to move up towards the top lane. He's already popped his Necro units during that last fight. But we'll look towards that top lane. Just right now, there's just at a point where Sigma can't really do much against this. Line of Heaven's too tanky. Their magical damage is enough. Fated can't even use a live drain because he can't hold anybody in position long enough to, in fact, make the most out of it. Because it's just the Naga and Snare they've got as well as the Tree ulti. And if you don't get familiar stuns, then you're out too. And Mad, you can't really rely on using his ultimate. Funny enough, life drain's not going to work through that. That would be OP. The God's pushing out this top lane. Necro units down, DD as well. Soshka opening up with the ultimate. Lead seed as well, and they got the kill. It was actually a really nicely executed gank. However, for them, Light of Heaven just came over the hill. Looking for the openings. Those Familiars, they're only brand spanking new. They don't want to lose them yet. There's a TP coming in from the Naga Siren, and Mad, well, okay, now he's backing up. Soul Assumption damage in the Light of Heaven, but he doesn't care about that. What was that, a zero charge Soul Assumption? How much damage it dealt? Grave Chill over on these Necro units. Someone had to take the damage from it. No one takes the gold from it, however. The tower that got the last hit. Grievel's coming in right now with 2 TP scrolls, and that's going to be for Bristleback to head down towards that bottom lane in a moment, which has already been pushed out pretty far. Yeah, there's that TP coming in. This one's actually God who comes in. Suppose it's easier for him to clear off that creep wave than it is for a Bristleback. Nah, actually not really. Can go either way. But Sigma now group up as 5, well, apart from 1. Miguel finds the CM out of position, and that's going to be a full Vladimir's offering for him too. Which means solo Roshan is possible for a Juggernaut. Because you got the living armor to help him, so he just goes solo into the pit and takes it. That's as simple as it gets. The rest of his team still does what they're doing best. Moving around the map, trying to hold lanes. But nah, looks like they're all going to go in. Screw waiting for the Juggernaut as well as his Vladimir's offering. They want this and they want this now. But at the same time, Queen of Pain. She's got a level 3 Necro book finished. The Spirit's coming in to scout. Roshan sitting down at 6,000 of his 9,000 life points. That's not low enough, which means VP, they know they can try and contest this. Pass getting spotted out by NS, so there's your poison already. Coming out from the Dazzle. And Fader, he's caught on the wrong side of the river, but you know what he's looking for. He's going to find that little naked Grievel. Movement speed not being used, which means Fader is able to snipe out the Courier. But now down the bottom lane. Miguel, no ulti. Ensnare, Light of Heaven comes in through the rear, but the spin's already going. Lead seed as well, and that means Sochka's got to throw that ultimate out. They get the Queen of Pain down, but then the Shadow Wave heal. ET ulti, you're not going to crack anybody back. The Meg charge goes as well, coming out from Sochka, but Juggernaut dies on the basically the table. And Sochka will join him. Lead seed or not, Fader and Pass are rotating back up again, but they just lost 3 of their comrades so quickly. They just could not do anything about it. And Familiars, lost 1 before the drop down. Really, there's so many of these Visage Familiars which are dying. There's another resummon up on them. So there goes your tier 2 tower bottom lane. The team with the Pugner is not capable of pushing. Because they just don't have the damage to get through the Bristleback. They're killing up the Queen of Pain. They're focusing everything they got in that Queen of Pain, but then Bristleback just freely walks around the fight. While ET sits back and throws Spirits also quite freely. And then comes to join the fight with this bonus damage. Well, trivia time. Name 3 heroes that have built Necromicons 15 or more times in pro play during 6.79. Queen of Pain, I put very high up on the list. Who else would we say has been building Necro books? Nature's Prophet. I'd submit those 2 candidates. And the last hero that would have been picked up a hell of a lot as well. They will be playing jungle. No, you wouldn't really have a jungle to pick that up either. Queen of Pain's in trouble. Soul Assumption, they need a stun. They had to use the ulti from Tree. And they used the Juggernaut ulti as well. So Queen of Pain goes down. TP's coming from Nagasar, and this could be on the back of a sleep. In fact, it is. Man slept before he arrives. He's gotten both Light of Heaven and Arsat locked here. Mirror Image is down. Ensnare, it goes over towards the Crystal Maiden. She's the easier one to pick off instead of Light of Heaven. But Light of Heaven, look at the damage dealing to Miguel. With the Shallow Grave too, they cannot pick up Arsat. The Meg Charge will heal him up. And this is just gone from bad to worse. That Dazzle pickup is paying tenfold right now for VP. Allowing their melee damage dealers to get in. Close. Arsat now finally will go down. Soul Assumption damage. Doing its work. Visage will TP out and Fader. One last blast takes the creep wave at least. So now slow down the push down the middle lane. VP now 12,000 gold in front, 5,000 experience as well. They are so far ahead. They are so far ahead right now. All out of towers removed. And Fate is forced back into the base again. He has his level 3 Necro units, but it's pretty bad. It's pretty late. Light of Heaven now. Oh, wow. This is so old. This is so old on a Bristleback. The Radiance Bristleback. He just walks in, burns you down, and you can't kill him. Light of Heaven has taken us back to 2007 right now. That's how old this build is. So yeah, Nature's Prophet got 1. Pugna, I didn't think Pugna got picked up that much. That's why I didn't want to go with him. And Crystal Maiden got 18 of them. Maybe it's this new Hand of Minus Crystal Maiden which has come up. Not in this game, at least. In this game, we have a Crystal Maiden with an Ogre Club instead. So, BKB build. Top lane movement, God. Staring down Fader. Level 3 Necros versus level 3 Necros if they do try and engage that out. But I think also the Queen of Pain realizes just how much respect he has to give the Pugna if that Nether Ward gets dropped down. Queen of Pain could find herself killing herself off a lot faster. Now into the mid lane, Light of Heaven. They need to give him these last hits. So he's able to pick up that Radiance. It's a little bit later than most Radiances you look to find. Like, the early Radiances, the ones which really dish out a lot of damage, they'll come around the 15-minute mark. The ones which are average would be like 20 to 25, or 23 actually to 25, be a little bit more average for Radiance. See, in Dota 2 you can say it. As I said, 2007, this was standard. In Warcraft 3 Dota. This was stock standard in Warcraft 3 Dota. As quickly as you could, you get a Radiance up on the Bristleback after he got the Vanguard. Because that's just the ability. And this casual cloak, it's enough spell resistance that you kind of feel safer up against the Pugna. If you just keep your back turned at the right time, the Radiance will do the rest. Mad's going to try and come in and steal out this tier 1 tower in mid. Fortification we use and Mad has to bail out. This is almost worth a TP out to safety the tree line. He's not quite sure about it though. He has managed to get VP to turn around. Hiding in the tree line just around the corner from God. So the tower will be denied. And Mad's coming out again. That courier should have the recipe. Yeah, it does. So 26, 20, 22 or 23. Radiance now coming up on the bristleback. Now the jump into the mid. With the Radiance burn the Necro units, they can just force down towers. Sigma have no other real choice apart from doing what Mad is currently doing, which is intercepting the creep wave. But this just means that VP don't back out. They cannot back out. They must tank up the blast. Now the Necro unit's coming off, and there's a stomp coming off from the ET Spirit too. Familiars, they can't get any kind of trap. Naga does have the ulti, but you see Naga's life points dropping down. Quap, wait. On the side, trying to attack on a Pugna. When they're still living armor and mech, and you're diving into the tier 3 towers, that's rather hopeful. Even if you did have a weave buff up or anything like that. Light of Heaven, Naga, Mirror Image is now going to come out. Keep going with that Riptide, wanting to drop down his armor to -9, in fact. But they still can't get through his life points. But they hold the ground. On the high ground, Netherwall still a drop down by Fader. Decrepify into the blast, they're just trying to whittle away at that bristleback. Even though his regeneration is quite decent. Ensnare, now on the Light of Heaven again. Pass, Leech Seed, throws the ulti. They force staff down, but Juggernaut jumping through, goes in towards the spin, but he's going to back himself off away from Arsart's ultimate. Again, another full duration from Arsart until the Familiars. They get themselves a double stun, that waters down, and Shallow Grave. Again, going to work. The Pugna blast over to NS. Light of Heaven is not looking healthy right now. More soul such damage going over to NS. Fader, he didn't even need one last attack. The blast still doing their job. Santa, he's got a bonus. How much? Well, a lot. Naga slows it down. Fader's already dying a very, very slow, horrible, painful death. That's why a blink up by God. He'll take that kill. Another stomp now goes over the Tree Protector. And I almost wish the Fader just stuck around throughout one last Nether Blast, but at the same time now, Queen of Pain blinked away to safety. Crystal Mane's on the run from the Necro units. Did Bristol really? Really? Denied to a neutral. Please don't tell me that was the Sata blasting through the tree line down to the lower ground, because that's just wrong. Sigma deserved that kill. But this will now be Roshan being mopped up. And this will go the way of Sigma too. So Aegis Immortal on the deck, goes the way of the Juggernaut. Walking around with the Vladimir's offering, and now 3.1k gold also up on him. Just walking around with a Band of Elves kid. Normally when you look at that kind of thing, you do say it should just be a Mana Cell coming out from him. But up against this lineup, I'm wondering if that's really what he wants to do. S and Y, it actually would be a very nice choice as well for Miguel. Just to actually have that extra maim, slow him down. It's good damage for you, good strength for you. Both things you require going up against this bristleback. But he might just go all out. Yeah, he is. It's going to be a Demon Edge for him. Either this will be a Monkey King bar he considers a Daedalus. I was actually thinking a Desolator may be a better choice for him. And not for towers, it's just the slow whittling with... yeah, and he can't get in close enough to kill off the bristleback. Or at least do a couple of attacks to bring down his armor. Even when the bristle comes in close, you don't really find that opening. Now Miguel, he already uses his spin. There's no creep waves far enough away they can stall it up until he gets his spin back again. It looks like VP, are they backing up? They are. Queen of Pain goes top lane. She wants to push this lane out, which means someone should probably intercept the new creep wave. Light of Heaven's too busy farming up inside the jungle. Is that going to be... Nah, it's just wards coming out. I thought maybe he should have finished up his hood by now. Doesn't seem to be the case. Mad's also going to build into a Necrobook unit. While Fate is walking around with 3.2k gold. Enough for buyback, but I'm wondering what more he's searching for. Already with Elite Seed. They're just trying to back Light of Heaven out of this front lines. The Grove fight is slowing him down too. Pugna Blast takes care of the creep wave. And then live drains Line of Heaven, so just force him to walk himself away. While on bottom lane, Mad still continues up with this push. Wants to do some kind of damage to this, or at least push to the tier 3 tower. While the Blasts do their work in the mid, Familiars as well. That Radiance Burn is still having its effect, but the Necro units are out right now for both sides. One of those Necro units should probably be looking to pick off. Actually, no, they're not out for both sides yet. 14 seconds. Looks like they're about to try and pick off Mr. Blue. They get it too. Look at Light of Heaven. He cool sprayed that down. He was the one that got the last hit then, but takes a lot of life point damage for it. And they want to keep pushing this in. That's why Mad's staying close by. No one's coming to defend. They're all showing themselves in mid, which means now Mad can push out that bottom lane. All 5 weaved up. He might have to come back in a moment, but he can still try the push. Nether wards are down. Leech Seed now over on Line of Heaven, draining out his life points again. And Mad has entered the bottom lane. New creep wave will spawn up in a moment. They can be riptideed down and killed off. Now they're in. ET ult is going. Juggernaut bouncing around too. Shallow Grave will keep Light of Heaven alive for the moment. And Naga, all she wants to do is just come in and do that sleep. Reposition up. Pugna, blast time, blast time. Takes out the Bristleback almost instantly. Live draining up against NS. Queen of Pain picks up the E-Blade, but she's not going to go back into that fight. She's the only one that managed to survive through that engagement. Maybe can find it snipe off. No, they can't. Everyone's full life. The healing ward's ensuring it. And Sigma just took a beautiful fight from inside their base. The push will come to the tier 2 tower in the middle lane. But nothing is really going to be stopping this. Look at Miguel's right on the money too. But they need the creep wave. They're fighting backdoor regen because they just want to get this done as quickly as possible. Moving Armor will give them the life. Now the creep wave comes in. You'll see just how much damage this does dish out. Especially with those Familiars. Fortification was used to again try and slow them down. New Necro units coming out, try and also slow them down. Attempted Null actually got it too. God time those Necro units attack very, very nicely. Between the two of them, they actually dish out about 200 damage, so getting that's not as difficult. That means now Sigma, they've taken towers, they take gold advantage, they'll take experience advantage. 12,000 of VP turns around. That experience, wow, that really does turn around. They didn't even lose a tier 3 tower for it. Yeah, the pings are coming out. They're reminding Soshka to keep those towers up. All that damage which was dealt by VP. With the new changes too, like most people go for the range rest, it doesn't regenerate. But Living Armor regenerates every building. And now the push on the top lane. Those Necro units going to work. Juggernaut. Is that his? That belongs to Pass. Which means Pass is on his way to building into either a Shiva's Guard or he's looking for the AC for his team. I would assume it is AC. Juggernaut doesn't have the money to go and buy that kind of stuff. He's 5'6" right now. Just trying to scrap up farm wherever he can possibly find it. He's about to lose the Jaeger, so at least he'll have himself an extra slot. Let's see the push coming in the mid with the catapult behind it. New creep wave still a little bit off. But that's enough. Maybe to make VP think twice about trying to push up any kind of lane. Because Fader's on the bottom lane trying to push this one out. He had a lot of money before, which we noted, but buying up an Aghanim Scepter, so 0 second cooldown on the life drain. And once he hits full life, he starts draining out mana too. So either way you look at it, yeah, you see him at full life and he's using it to drain out some mana. The problem is it costs 225 to start. And the speed he drains out the life points is just not worth it on a creep wave. And a hero, it's perfect.
Tower is under attack.
Mad's now got level 2 books. Using his illusions to farm up to keep himself safe.
Has been denied.
Yeah, level 2 Necro units flying out in the courier. Light of Heaven also just denying out that top tower, so more bonus gold coming the way of Sigma. Not as much as they would obviously get from a tower if it wasn't denied, but still it means there's only one remaining out of tower. And that's probably their better thing right now. The team with the Pugna have the map control. That's what it's all about for them. I'm also waiting for Faye to get something like a Yule Scepter. Dispel that grave. If I'm not mistaken, Yule Scepter does dispel it. Someone in chat, meta question, mechanics question. Does Dual Scepter dispel Shallow Grave? So you can answer us. No is the answer. Well, that's crap. Was it only Culling Blade that goes through Shallow Grave then? Alright. Mad back to base again. Well, Miguel farms up the bottom lane too, and he's also TPing out with a spin. He's going to build into that Monkey King bar. 2k gold over on the Visage. So a long way away from having an Assault Cuirass. So a long way, about 2,000 gold. Probably not that long when you're able to farm with familiars like he's doing. Especially with the Aghanim's familiars. There's 3 of them on the deck. Pugna. Oh, this could really turn bad for them. They've already used the ultimate. Soshka, Light of Heaven's going to come in on him. 4-star over the hill. Wants to try and get out of this one. T-Pink, they have a stomp. Yeah, they do. Sand throws it out, and the Spirit comes back in again. Runs 104 damage. They were searching for the Pugna as well. But the movement that went up right then from Soshka was enough of a bait that Pugna was able to get himself away to safety. And now he's got himself a BKB, which means free from every kind of peril that VP will throw his way. Mad also completes up his 3rd level Necro books. Miguel now has Monkey King Barb. I'll have to buy out for it. I don't think he'll have much of an issue with that while he keeps pushing out this bottom lane. He's got a lot more time to farm up. Visage is already doing that again inside his own jungle. A risky kind of thing to do when you got Light of Heaven on the field, pushing like he is. Also with another 3k gold up on that bristleback.
Radiant's bottom tower.
There's your push now, tier 3 tower. It's not down yet, but it's definitely taking some considerable damage in comparison to that mid tower, which is still being healed up bit by the Treant Protector. It looks like Soshka's getting a little bit lazy on the heal. Not having all these buildings up at max. I'll just go purchase up by Bristle. He finishes up his full hood. So I can look to the pipe for the team. Roshan spawns up within the next minute or so. While Necro units battle themselves out for dominance. Nova's trying to help him out. There's your Hyperstone up on the Courier. That's that AC we're talking about for the Visage. You can also afford... Actually, he's still short. Grave Chill. Familiar drop 1, Familiar drop 2. But they're all burning in the middle of it all too, so he just pulls them back. So all the creep waste is burning for it. It's Light of Heaven that's just spamming off these quills. Getting on the warpath. It doesn't really need much encouragement. They go off and kill those familiars. Because the more warpath he gets, the more bonus damage. Like it's 30 bonus damage per warpath. So all he's got to do is stack. Miguel refuses to be hit by the Spirit. There's that full AC. Pugna. Decrepify. And then straight into the drain. Just trying to force Santa back so they're ready to fight this one out. Either game to spam a Spirit or something else. Miguel's going towards the top lane. So they're not really ready to fight. Fade up. Oh. He's away. Well, it was just done anyway. What are you going to do? Spirit into a strap stomp? There wouldn't have been enough time to get it off. Well, it would have been only Crystal Maiden that could have stopped that. But she was just a little bit too far away. Naga's already managed to back up from that middle lane, or maybe a little bit more over-aggressive. I thought Mad was just going to head back to base for what I saw before, but he's going to come in and plant a very aggressive ward on this top. Watches the Courier movement in towards the jungle and out of it too. So at least they'll be aware if there's a new item coming up for the VirtusPro lineup. Might also give a chance to snipe off that Courier. But more importantly, it sees who's heading up towards the top lane, where Miguel currently is trying to free farm. And they just keep going. Miguel with 2.1k gold up on himself right now. And Juggernaut's got some time. A little bit of time to farm. And then Light of Heaven walks in. BT's up on that bristleback. And he's looking just to chase down Miguel. He already moves very, very quickly because of the BTs, but he got an extra buff up. 3k gold still on that bristleback as well. Still want to see him finish up that Assault Cuirass for his team. Because they need it. Even with the weave, they still need it. Roshan's now being attacked as well. And that's just quick and easy. Aegis the Immortal goes over towards Fader. No cheese on this Roshan just yet. But a lot of key items up for both these squads. BKBs on both the Elder Titan as well as the Crystal Maiden. While she's now building into an Aghanim Scepter up on this Crystal Maiden as well. And then you've got Shadow Shaman, Dazzle. Also going for the Aghanim's buff up over on his ultimate. Still got that casual Yasha on the Juggernaut, which I'd like to see something done with. As you're seeing, Sigma's getting control of this game. Like, they got an experience. They got a lot of it back in the gold when they started taking out the towers, and the rest of the time they're just focusing on having key items and not having a stupid fight. Pushing top, as in like pushing into the base, up to the high ground, before your team is really ready. Before they have their items up and running. Like, we've already got some really good core items, but you still want to get that Sight Device over on the Treant Protector. You still want to have your next tier 3 item up on a Juggernaut. Visage, she's fine as is. Naga, also fine as is. Diffuser Blade, not really worth waiting for from Mad. Even though it'll be nice, it's not worth waiting for. So here comes the push. Straight on top of the tier 2 tower. The Stomp's just going to slow him down a little bit. With the Pugna Blast, you can't stop this push. It's the bottom lane which should be a little bit more of a concern right now. Or if they can catch Light of Heaven out. Ensnare as well, and Juggernaut goes into the ultimate, and that's almost every single hit onto Light of Heaven. Santa took a couple of them off to the side, goes into Stomp, and now there has to be a buyback. Sigma will fall back. They're all asleep right now. Leave a couple of Necro units behind. They got Familiars already using drops. Oh, are they going to go in? Naga. Big ulti. But there's nothing really to follow up. They want to. Riptide going to go on 3. Mirror Images first. Trying to evade a little bit of that damage, but they've already lost the Juggernaut, and the ET ulti was in a perfect position. I don't know what business Sigma had to really go for that fight, because it did not work for them. And Fader getting destroyed off. The Familiar drop down. Juggernaut's about to come back to life again because of Aegis the Immortal, but he's locked in the corner with nothing to help him survive. Wait, what? Am I tripping? I'm tripping. That was the Pugna, sorry, he respawned. Yeah, I'm tripping balls. Lol. But now Light of Heaven comes in from Miguel. Snort's up on the wrong hero. Now, hero has to spin to evade, but Light of Heaven, look at that movement speed. Spins out from Miguel. Light of Heaven needs a bash to stop that. I'd also look at him now going into his heart. A lot of life points. I still don't know what Sigma thought what they were doing when they went for that. When the buyback came out from Light of Heaven, they just had to instantly bail out. Because they were good enough to catch Light of Heaven out of position. I suppose pushing into the high ground was still... They are on a time limit here. So I can understand the desire to want to. But they needed a little bit more time. Ensnare on Light of Heaven again. If they can get a kill up on him... You know Miguel wants to. He's got a level 3 ultimate, but there's just too much of a creep wave here. He can't guarantee the hit, so now there's your ulti out. They focus on Light of Heaven. There goes your Juggernaut. Bounce down. NS very, very low on life. The Shallow Grave making sure Light of Heaven stays alive. And now the Ensnare over towards Santa. Pugna has to buy it back. They got the kill on the Crystal Maiden. Santa BKB's TP's out to safety. My God, tries to keep that momentum on the bottom lane so they can't just jump themselves down and take out... Well, they're not going to take out Roshan. Or take out the mid-racks. Miguel comes to defend it. Buybase going on to cooldown for a lot of players. Pugna's also not going to be happy. He can't get money. Oh, he can now. God's out. Miguel as well. 2.6k gold. S&Y or BKB. Still kind of feel the need to go all out damage. just trust his teammates to get the initiation and go into the pure damage output. Cheap and easy Desolator. Still feeling it. Up against a heart. He needs to do it. You got 3k life points up on a Bristleback. No amount of Decrepifying is going to really help you out in that front. In fact, Decrepifying actually doesn't help you with Juggernaut. That's why they rely on the tree ulti, and then they can follow it with Decrepifying somebody else. Making sure all the bounces, or as many of them as possible, goes over the Bristleback. Miguel. TP already out by Mad. Miguel getting burnt up a little bit. But picking up one of the Necro units. They're still worth some decent money. But Sigma can't seriously be waiting for the, like, it's almost like the second coming. If they're waiting for the next Roshan, it's going to take way too long for them. Because, yeah, now you see Elder Titan picks up the Assault Cuirass. Aghanim Scepter almost done for Dazzle, 300 gold away. And you got Queen of Pain with E-Blade, Necro, Book, Sight Device, and 2,700 gold. Where Pugna, like, what's he now building into? Plate Mail, so we got Shiva's Guard. But AC's already up on the Visage. So he's kind of got to go with Shiva's Guard here. And Juggernaut's still got his 2.9k. This will more than likely be a Butterfly, I got a feeling. Find that extra evasion, but more importantly, just rack up that agility damage of his. He's already got the mini bash chance. He's got to add his own evasion into it all. And force Queen of Pain to pick up something like a Monkey King buff, which is only 2,400 gold away from her grasp. So she's actually quite close. If that is what she ends up going. Diffuser Blade now finished up for Maz. At least he'll burn a little bit of mana during the team fights. And Snare, they're really looking after every single Necro unit. Good money. Very, very good money. Line of Heaven now up to 1,600 gold. Oh, snipe. Santa wanted it for farming, I assume. But by that 4-staff down, he actually doesn't. He's not able to stack up any kind of cancer himself. And what an interesting game we end up having. A lot closer than I kind of felt at the very, very start. I thought, yeah, you know what? No problem at all. We're going to game number 3. And then Sigma. They won fight after fight. And I thought, hey, we're not going to game number 3. And then that top lane push after Light of Heaven's buyback. And it comes back to sitting on the fence right now and getting skewered by the pickets. Roshan is coming up shortly. Everyone should have their timers marked. And this Visage going to have his work cut out for him. Got to be able to check out what's happening with Roshan, which means at least one familiar is going to remain at Roshan at all times. To know when he's able to respawn back up again. Also at the same time, Visage walking around with 4k gold. What, bottom lane? Live draining over on God. Just going to TP himself away. Fade again, do the same thing. Again, no basher up on either of these heroes. So E-Blade or not, it won't help anybody. VP don't really have that much level of control. What they have is that level of burst damage and just tank ability in the front line, setting it up. Aghanim Scepter is flying out now for Dazzle. 3-man group up. We've got a 4th. Man's a little bit busy. He's still, though, got most items he's searching for as the support goes. And it will be a Juggernaut Butterfly. And a very wise decision. It's mainly the evasion I'm searching for. Because that's where VP miss out on a lot. Their damage output, like, it's actually quite high up on Light of Heaven. Especially once that Warpath starts racking up. I see it already, 170 plus 123. Nah, he just lost the 3rd level. There we go. Up she goes again. Dealing a bonus 90 damage and moving 19% faster. Now 90% damage. Can only keep 4 stacks up at once. It's not possible to get another one. It's just because of timing. Runs out. CM, Aghanim, Scepter, BKB. All right. Top lane, another TP out by Pugner. And again, the BKB being used offensively. But now Roshan's up and running. This is when they really should be scouting out for this. They really actually have to go out and scout for Roshan right now. So they know what's going on. They know he's up and available middle lane. Looking for a stomp. Going to get it on pass, which means now Arsak can get a follow-up frostbite. ET ulti also coming in. They snap him out of his sleep, but then Soul Assumption damage and the familiars as well. They're going to get a 1-for-1 here right now. While you might lose the core hero, the Visage, you lose your Crystal Maiden at the same time. And then on bottom lane, Juggernaut, ulti available, and Snare onto NS. He does still have Shallow Graves. There's no point just using it. Oh, failed TP. Who was that? Huh. It must have actually been the Bristleback. Yeah, BT's on cooldown. I only caught the end of that creep, but I thought it was I thought it belonged to the Radiant Sign is the word I'm searching for. Yeah. But you just have TP back on. Yeah, of course, Radiant. Yeah, works that way. Sorry, no, Dire. That's what's because he was looking to deny it. Anyway, ignore my brain. I think we really have hit that time of the night. Beverage break, people. Beverage break.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Whew. Gotta spice up those Angie cells in the body. Because we are going to get this in a very, very late game. 53-minute sim. We're still going over a kill a minute, which is a nice thing to have happen. But up on top lane, the trap is set. Light of Heaven. They need his front side, though. They must have his front side. Pugner's just trying to live drain him out as much as possible. They don't... Oh, the stun. It's not even a stun. It's a Hex. They waited until he TP'd out before they used the Hex and then the Leech Seed, but they cannot kill him off. 2 heroes is not enough. It is nowhere near enough. Miguel's spinning and TPing out of the bottom lane, just in cases. Well, up on top lane, you've still got the Tree and Protector and the ability to send Fader invis as well, which he really should do right now. Fader just TP. In the tree line, they'll find him, but it's too late. He's away to safety. And Soshka's running the line of trees back to base. 2.2k gold up on him. Abyssal Blade can be afforded by Light of Heaven. But it looks like the courier's already making the trip for it. He's also still just got this casual plate mail. Should be a Shiva's Guard. Nothing, no recipes over on the courier. So I assume for now he's just building the Abyssal Blade. Left the Shiva's Guard in the back burner. Left the pipe on the back burner. Might sell him later on. Because they've already got the AC in their lineup coming from the Elder Titan. And now physical DPS coming out from Quap. With a Daedalus pickup for her. It's a lot of work to mop up this top lane.
Is under attack.
Same time Roshan now. Finally they come in for it.
Radiant's bottom tower has
And Sigma can do this very, very quickly. As we're seeing right now. Snagus and Cheese. More supports on the way. Spirit, Arsat. Soshka's already outside the base. Familiar's dropped down. They've got to pick up the Cheese. It's still on the deck right now. Someone's going to come in for it. NS, however, being live drained out. Fader is going to lose his ward. The Cheese got picked up by the Visage, and now Light of Heaven smack bang in the middle of the fight. May not be enough. I don't think it's going to be enough for his survival. The ET split. The spin's going up. Miguel doesn't have an ultimate available. Quapaldi has flown up with the Soul Assumption damages. Queen of Pain runs out through the top. And the middle is just mopped up. Bristleback was able to escape too, and he's up on this top lane, but with an ET buyback, you got two supports on the sidelines. It looks like Sigma really do want to push in through this mid. And do an all 5-man push with an Aegis and Cheese behind him. I said before, the clock was ticking. Buyback now by Dazzle. They want to keep pushing this. Naga Siren throws the ult. Wait, what? She coming back up to top? Yeah, she's coming back up to top. They found Light of Heaven. Diffuser Blade gonna go. They gotta hold him there. Still at the same time, the rest of Sigma's trying to TP back out of this one to safety. Light of Heaven, get this familiar over there. You know, every bit of damage they can get, they got him. It's almost 2 minutes on the sidelines. Miguel's on the run out. It looks like his TP was cancelled. got no ultimate, and that Daedalus just rips through his life points. So both Bristle as well as Juggernaut on the sidelines. Buyback available for neither. Sure, the money for the Juggernaut. We've got a gem on the deck. Chi still in the hands of the Visage. Aegis was triggered before when Juggernaut died. Guys, like, you just dropped a 900 gold item right here. Like, right here. And the courier is currently not alive to come and pick it up. But it seems like VP's not going to know it anyway unless the creep wave walks there, which it won't. Unless someone blocks it with a fissure, but ES not playing in this game. That's a big creep wave on bottom. You can see Fader. He's licking his lips saying we can take this. Living Armor should really be going off on these trees too. On these towers. Both middle as well as bottom as well as top. All towers have taken some significant damage. But he's just not remembering to do it. Might be waiting for a hero to get in a little bit more trouble before he uses it. But it's Fader on this bottom lane. It doesn't really matter. Like, Yeshiva's gutting down most of his creep wave, taking all the farm himself. Got 5k gold now. Blink in. They got the Hex up on pass. Familiars, 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop. Whole Sander in position. Look for a Hex now too. That's coming out from the Visage. Soul Assumption damage. It's not really that high just yet. And a BKB and 4 staff away from Santa. All under TP out to safety. 4 staff down by the tree, but cannot get in range for a Leech Seed. And Fader, he wants to go again. E-Blade by 1. Decrepify from the other. They both sit in their ethereal forms, but with the Pugna Blast, I think Queen of Pain's a little bit more concerned than Fader is at the very, very start of that fight. Later on, you start thinking about the timing of the Sonic Wave, and that becomes also quite difficult. Passman also want to consider handing this cheese over. Juggernaut is kind of full though. Necro units only on this bottom lane. Fader doesn't really care about these, he just life drains out of another creep anyway. So that's all good for him. A middle lane push coming up by VirtusPro. Remember, no racks have been taken still. How's that Living Armor heal going? Not at all. That's Living Armor. Off cooldown. Thoska, remember towers. Remember towers. They need your help. Spin up on top lane. Miguel's out of here. Timed his TP right, so you're still inside the spin at the same time. So no possibility for a Scythe of Ice. Well, Santa free farming up inside the jungle. Still amazing you pull 108 bonus damage out of the air. Like Siren with Heaven's Halberd, Dagon, Diffusal only level 1. We get BTing Pugna too. So we get global support coming out from the Pugna. A way to deal with the split pushes. Now we go past the hour mark on this game. This really does get to a point where one fight can win it all for you. With so many buybacks on cooldown, the upside for a lot of these guys when they died was the fact that it was the second time, like after the buyback, so their bonus time that they've managed to have, that they managed to gain by buying back, has now been used up by their previous deaths. So that's one big upside right now for VP. Pugna getting aside the Vice, however, is not really a big upside because then he's maxed. And at this point, he's only a Void Zone away from having it. So a lot of disables coming out against heroes like Queen of Pain. She might have level 25, but you've only got a Demon Edge, so I suppose when that's done too, you are looking at a maxed out Queen of Pain. Buy BTs as opposed to Trez, but still maxed out Queen of Pain. All the time is not too bad with BKB 4-star AC. And then Bristleback. Mr. I have Abyssal Blade, but never bought up a Shiva's Guard. And don't have a hood. You can almost afford the Shiva's Guard, but cannot afford a buyback if he does. And buyback is ready for him and costs about 2,000 gold.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
They're coming back VP. And Sigma want to move out and find a kill. Get the courier as close as possible. They get the smoke movement. They'll walk under no wards here. And a blink over from God. I don't know if they kind of heard that one, but Faye's going to be the first one on the scene. No ensnare. No jump in. They want the big kill, though. Oh, if they can claim this. Light of Heaven. Just use it, Miguel. Oh, the creep wave. It arrives in, but Light of Heaven. Life drained out. He's gone. 100 seconds on the sideline, but they got a consolation prize as well. Oh, it's not one fight to win it all. It's just survival. The Meg Charge will allow God to survive that Grave Shield, but they want that Queen of Pain dead. Buyback coming out from the Bristleback. Tree ulti, too late. Santa throws his own ulti down. And now Light of Heaven, he's back in the middle of this fight again. The Quap ulti, Dagon going into Santa. Miguel, he's getting leeched out of this as well. He needs to get himself further back, but they've got enough cover fire. They've already got the ET on the sideline. Light of Heaven, another Shallow Grave, keeping him in the mix now. Over towards NS, ensnared up, being pulled out. Fader, it never ends. Remember, he's a full life, he pulls the mana, and now they've got God. Familiars don't have a drop down, but they've got more than enough damage to get the kill. Moving over towards Arsat. This could very well be GG. One more attack, where is it? Leech Seed, Dagon. Levels up even higher, and Light of Heaven. With the Crystal Maiden buying back, it means he does have a friend here. But it's so difficult to stop. Light of Heaven moves in for Fader. But now again, Decrepify Drain, Decrepify Drain. They take the bottom racks. But they should not be falling back right now. They've got a huge opening, a massive opening. This has to be more than one. Just blast it down again, draining all the life. Ensnare, Light of Heaven is just being pulled from his very, very soul by this Pugna. There's your blast, there's your Shiva's guards. Clean up the creep wave. Miguel actually has a DD rune too. They're going to go for Mega Creeps. They're going to go for Mega Creeps. And they've got Light of Heaven again. This time, Familiars, there's no drops, got Soul Assumption damage. They've got the Bristleback. Dagon from the Dream Protector. 120 seconds, and GG is the call. 64 minutes it takes. They've all got Dagons, and they're coming in to just focus on Arsat, who will then Grave Chill himself, Shallow Grave himself. But no one's going to go down this fight right now for Sigma. They're triggering off the aggro between the Necro and everything else. But GG is the call. Sigma take the match out 2-0. Which means as far as their progression through this tournament, sitting in group number 1, they go 3 games 1. Which means they are in a very comfortable number 1 position. They only have 4 games in total, but this puts them up on the top, right next to Alliance, who have 2 wins. Also out of their games which they've played. No losses out for them either. And of course, it's going to be a rather interesting game when they face up against each other. That game's coming up actually on the 13th of this month. Got a little bit of a break between those games. Got more matches coming up tomorrow as well. Alliance will be playing up their 3rd matchup, and that'll be up against Fanatics. They're scheduled for 17 CET tomorrow, and that's actually the only game, I believe, scheduled for tomorrow. So until then, thanks for watching, people. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast. If you don't know where the VODs are, you'll find it right here on the Daily Motion live stream. I upload them here at the conclusion of every single broadcast, so you'll find them right here. So yeah, thanks for watching, peoples, and we'll see you next time here on the D2CL, too many acronyms, D2CL live stream. Thanks for watching.